Hi, I'm Scott from Gunday YBM, and today we're going to be looking at using future continuous sentences. Okay, now we use future continuous to talk about an action that will be in progress at a specific time in the future. For example, let's take a look at this sentence. I will be going home at 5 p.m. Now again, this does not mean that I will start to go home at 5 p.m., but this action of going will be in progress at this time. Now before I explain further, let's conjugate our verbs in the future continuous, okay? We have our pronouns here, okay? Plus followed by will because we are talking about the future. Now we're also talking continuous actions, so we're going to use the be verb plus the verb in the gerund or ing form, okay? For example, I will be doing something at a specific time. You will be going. He will be studying. She will be meeting. We will be eating. They will be playing. It will be walking, etc., etc. Now let's make sentences in the future continuous, okay? Now to make a sentence, let's always stick to our basic format, which is starts with our subject, followed by our verb, next comes our object, and then we're going to say when this happens, okay? For example, I is the subject, will be going is our verb, okay? Where, our object, home, and when at 5 p.m. I will be going home at 5 p.m. Now again, this sentence does not mean that I started going home at 5 p.m. No, it simply says that this action was already in progress at this time. Now to clear this up, let's look at this chart. Let's say that I left the office and started going home at about 4:45, okay? And I actually arrived home at about 5:10, okay? That means from here to here, I'm actually going home, okay? Let's say I'm walking home, and it takes from 4:45 to 5:10 to actually get home, okay? So at 5 o'clock, of course, let's say is about here, okay? So I'm saying I will be going home at this time. Again, this action is still in progress. I haven't started and I'm not home yet at this time. Now let's take a look at some other examples. Here we have, I will be watching a movie at the cinema at 8:30. And again, this means the movie probably started sometime before 8:30 and will finish sometime after. But at 8:30, I will be sitting in the theater watching the movie. Another example, I will be studying for my test in the evening. Now as you see here, we don't have a specific time according to the clock. We just have a period of time. Sometime in the evening, I will be doing this action. So in what kind of situations would we have to speak in the future continuous? Now remember that sentence, I will be studying for my test tomorrow evening? Well, let's say my friend calls me and wants to meet me. He would ask, are you free to meet me tomorrow evening? And of course, because I have a test to study for, I can say, I'm sorry. I will be studying for my test tomorrow evening. This action will be in progress at this time, which means I would not be able to meet my friend. Here's another example. My friend wants to call me at 8:30 for some reason. And he would ask, can I call you at 8:30 tonight? And I could say, well, no, I'm sorry, because I will be watching a movie in the cinema at 8:30, okay? This action will be in progress at this time, so I won't be available to answer the phone call. Now let's look at making future continuous questions, okay? Here we have our question words, what, where, and who. We're not going to ask a when question because we'll already be talking about a specific time in the future. For example, what will you be doing after dinner tonight? And I can answer, I will be having some coffee. Okay? And my friend can ask a follow-on question. Oh, where will you be having coffee? And I can answer, well, I will be having coffee at Starbucks. And who will you be having coffee with? Now, I don't always have to repeat the question in its full form because in the conversation we already know what we're talking about. So I can simply answer with my girlfriend, which means I will be having coffee with my girlfriend. Now to clear this up, let's compare a future simple with future continuous. Let's look at this future simple sentence. I will eat dinner at 6 p.m. This means that this is when I will actually start eating dinner at 6 p.m. Someone would ask me, what time will you eat dinner? I will eat dinner at 6 p.m. This is the time of starting dinner. Okay, I will be eating dinner at 6 p.m. This does not mean I will be starting dinner at then. It means I will have started sometime before 6 and this action will have already been in progress. It's continuing. It starts before 6 and it will continue till sometime after 6. Now let's look at negative sentences in the future continuous tense. Okay, simply, I will not be doing something at a specific time. And we can conjugate this as I won't be doing. Okay, will not always conjugates as I won't. Now let's look at some examples. I will not be going home at 5 p.m. Another, he won't be studying tomorrow evening. And finally, I won't be watching a movie at the theater at 8:30. Now let's take a look at yes or no questions, okay? Now remember, yes or no questions will not use a question word such as what, where, who, or when. Instead, we're going to start with will. For example, will you be going home at 5 p.m.? Now here, let's say, for example, my friend needs to call me and talk to me about something at 5 p.m. for some reason, okay? So he would ask, will you be going home at 5 p.m.? I say, yes, I will be. So you cannot call me. I will not answer while I am walking or driving. Okay, or I can say, no, I won't be going home at 5 p.m. Therefore, sure, you can call me. Here's another example. My friend asks me, will you be doing anything at 6 p.m.? Now he's probably asking me this because maybe he wants to meet or do something with me at 6 p.m. And I can answer, yes, I will be eating dinner at that time. Or I can say, no, I won't be doing anything. For more information, join Gunday YBM's Mid-Topics class.